We are going to be talking about poetry this week, ladies and gentlemen, for our library activities. Now, with poetry, it's a great way to use your creativity. It's a wonderful way to take your thoughts and feelings and things that you like and put them down on paper. And there are many different types of poetry. Some of them are short, some are long, some have rules, some don't. And you can write about anything that you want. Poems can be about anything, your thoughts, your feelings, can be about your pets, about yourself, about things you see in nature or science or art, anything you want. The main thing is to have fun and let your creativity and your thoughts guide you. So there are many, many different types of poems, but we're going to focus on just a couple here and give you some examples. And just so you know, they are listed in alphabetical order, not by any other type of importance. So we're going to start with acrostic. And the first letter of each line creates a word. So usually what we do is we start with a word. And you can see here my word was cats. Then I came up with words or phrases to describe cats. And each line starts with that letter. So I have curled up in a ball, always meowing, thinking of mice and treats, sleeping. And you can see the word cats. So this could be about anything. It can be very short. This one's only 4 lines long. And even though I did some phrases there, I could have just done one word for each line. It doesn't matter. It's always fun to do an acrostic poem for your name and come up with words that describe you for each letter in your name. So again, you can have a lot of fun, can be about anything that you want. We have cinquain poems. These are poems that have a few more rules. They're always going to be 5 lines. And we start out with one word, then 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, and finish with one again. And if you don't want to go by word count, you can also do syllables or the beats. And you can count it out, syllable patterns of 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2 again. And you'll notice mine really follows more with the number of words. The first word is usually the subject of the cinquain. It's a title, it's your noun. Then 2 words that describe it. Then 3 words that are usually action words, verbs. A lot of times they're ing words. Then you have a feeling or a phrase, maybe something that you think of when you think of your topic. And then the last line usually relates back to the first. So you can see my theme here with cat. So I have kitten, soft, cuddly, playing, sleeping, meowing, adorable ball of fur, cat. So again, I picked cats again because I find that easy, but it can be about anything you want, anything that you think you can easily describe. We have another fun one here. These are called concrete. Sometimes they're called shape poems. And what they are is they're poems that are made up of words, and the words are arranged to make the shape of your object and use words to describe the object or relate to it. So, a lot of times, what you can do to start is think about taking an outline. You can even use a coloring page for this because coloring pages just have outlines. And then you're going to brainstorm words or phrases that relate to the shape. They could be nouns, they could be adjectives. You can also think of action words or feeling words. And then you can put a piece of paper over your original shape and see how you can get the words to fit. You can also use the word art website. That's really, you can do word poems, concrete poems using that website as well. Now, the example I have here is by Ken Nesbitt, and he did a shape, of course, of a snowman there. And he actually has a rhyming poem in here. He took a rhyming poem, but arranged the words so that it looks like a snowman. It's cold outside. I don't want to go outdoors and play, but Mom says I have to anyway. It's starting to snow and I'm going to freeze. I hate playing outside on days like these. But wait a sec. I've had the most amazing, brilliant idea. I'll cover myself up with snow and I'll hide in here. So again, it's silly and it takes the shape, but it's related. Now we know what that shape is. He's going to hide in a snowman. So these can be very fun, but you do want the poem, the words to relate to the shape. Then we have the Diamante. These are very similar to Cinquains. These are now 7 lines long, and we start and end with one word. And in between, we have 2 words, then 3 words, and the line in the middle has 4 words. And usually, you have a combination of lines 1, 4, and 7 are nouns. 2 and 6 are adjective or describing words, and lines 3 and 5 are verbs or action words, often ing words. So you can see the pattern there: noun, adjective, adjective, verb, 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 noun, 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 verb, 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 adjective, adjective, noun. And there are basically 2 main types of Diamante poems. The first one is called a synonym poem, and that's where your first line and your last line are related to each other. So your whole poem is about one type of topic. So we have here monsters, evil, spooky, howling, shrieking, wailing, ghosts, vampires, goblins, witches, flying, scaring, terrifying, creepy, crawly creatures. So everything is related to monsters or creatures. Monsters and creatures are synonyms. You can also have what we call antonym poems, where it starts out as one thing and it ends up as another. Now, normally antonyms mean opposite. Here we've got cat and dog. We don't really necessarily call those opposites, but they're very, very different. But you can see how in the middle there are some similarities that help you to start transferring it. So this is another one by Ken Nesbitt. Cat, gentle, sleepy, purring, meowing, scratching, whiskers, fur, collar, leash, barking, licking, digging, slobbery, playful dog. So it started as cat, finished as dogs, and there's a transfer in there. So those are some different ways you can do those. Then we have free verse. Guess what? Free verse, no rules. You do what you want. It is completely, completely up to you. You don't have to have anything rhyming. You don't have to count the syllables or the punctuation or worry about the number of lines or ing words, anything. Free verse is just putting thoughts down on paper. There's no right or wrong way to do them. So this one is called Thrill Ride by Ken Nesbitt. Up, up, click, click. Wind blows sharp in my ears. My heart jumps, skips. It's up higher. It's up, up the highest. Hands grasp at the clouds. Then a forever pause. Still, waiting. Finally, whoosh! Steep drop down, down, down. So now I put pictures of clouds in there because I bet you know, though, what he's really talking about there. You get a really good idea. And I didn't want a picture to show what that was. But again, no rules. Some lines are longer. There's really no rhyming. Can be whatever you want. No rules whatsoever. Now we have another one that's very short, haiku. Haiku is a Japanese form of poetry. Normally, it relates to your feelings and emotions, or it's quite often used to describe things in nature. And it's a great way to think of things a little bit differently. How you see that leaf or that flower. And in this case, there are only 3 lines. Told you it was short. There are 5 syllables or beats in the first line, 7 syllables or beats in the second line. Then we wrap up with 5 again. So it's 5, 7, 5. But honestly, if you go a little over or under, it doesn't matter too much because it's the feeling. So again, Ken Nesbitt has provided us with some here. The first one, tired cat, sleeps all night. He needs lots of rest for a long day of napping. So it's a silly way to think of a cat. And of course, sometimes they can just be silly and funny too. Like this next one, my homework is late. My dog ate it this morning. I sure like my dog. So again, it makes you think something a little differently with that last line, made you think, oh, that's not where I thought it was going. So haiku can be very fun. And finally, we have rhyming poems. We usually think of rhyming when we think of poems. And if we think about it, Dr. Seuss books are all basically poems. And there are different types of rhyming poems. We have things called couplets, and that's two lines and their last words rhyme. So, my cat ate a mouse, then brought it in the house. So, it doesn't matter how many syllables you have, just mouse and house rhyme. Triplets, bet you know what that one is. Three. And your rhyming can really vary here. They all the words can rhyme, like the example we have here, or you can have the first and the last lines rhyme and the second line doesn't. So this one is what a fine day to go out and play in the month of May. That was a good one for this month. And then we have quatrains, which are made up of four. And there's a little more rhyming to this one, and it has different patterns. You can have lines 1 and 2 rhyme, and 3 and 4 rhyme, or you can alternate your rhyme, what we call A, B, A, B. So this is one of my favorite poems from when I was younger, called The Purple Cow by Gelett Burgess. I never saw a purple cow. I never hope to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about the different types of poetries, go back through, explore to decide which type you like best.